With great power comes great responsibility. But with every responsibility, we have to prove that we deserve. And to deserve, we have to change ourselves. We have to be somebody that may be difficult for us. But if we want to justify the responsibility given to us, we have to accept and we have to change and we have to show gratitude. That is exactly what the planets try to teach us. That is exactly what the planets talk to us. When we talk about planets as Rahu or Ketu, they are the planets of karma, and they are the axis, the north and the south node, which when changes the fate, changes the future. Every 18 years, this Rahu Ketu comes back to the same point. And then one thing that you have always heard, Saturn matures at 36. It is because there is 3 cycles of Jupiter of 12 years, 2 cycles of Rahu and Ketu, and there is going to be a movement of Shani combined. So Rahu Ketu is nothing but your karma. Rahu defines exploration, new karma, whereas Ketu defines spirituality and non-materialistic part of the life. Rahu is materialistic part of the life. When this Rahu and Ketu will make its move to the sign of Taurus and Scorpio, something big will happen. Let's find out. So Rahu was in the sign of Gemini and Ketu was in the sign of Sagittarius. This happened in March 2019. From 7th of March 2019, for approximately 18 months, we have seen the transit of Rahu in the nakshatras like Adra, causing all the thunderstorms, all the transformation, all the chaos. And I know what Gemini and Sagittarius axis have gone through. The Gemini-Sagittarius axis went through tremendous amount of rough patches, transformation, changes, sudden events. Life changed. And that's what all about Rahu and Ketu. Life changes. Karma changes. The pattern changes. Rahu Ketu brings surprise. Rahu is all about exploring the new dimension. When Rahu went into Gemini, it was all about Mercury. It was all about air. It was all about explosion. It was all about having the data, having the information, going haywire. Whereas Ketu joined Jupiter. Initially, there was no Jupiter. Jupiter was in Scorpio. But soon, what happened in the month of October last year was that Jupiter joined the sign of Sagittarius. The combined energy of Jupiter and Ketu is what we are feeling right now. And this created a lot of changes worldwide and on a personal level. The Adra energy, the Punarvasu energy, and now the Mrigshira energy of the Gemini zodiac, and who can forget the Moola energy of Ketu is actually making us rethink, re-evaluate, and you can say rejuvenate and connect with the past, connect with the base, connect with the roots. How beautiful this is. That the life that we always wanted was given, but Rahu being Rahu and Ketu being Ketu, it was given with controversy, with a lot of clauses attached to it, not in so positive scenario. And the same Rahu and Ketu is about to shift the axis. And once this axis shifts, the entire dimension or dimensional shift happens. Now remember, the Gemini and Sagittarius is actually a fire and air element connection, because Gemini is air element and Sagittarius is fire element. But from fire and air, the entire axis is being shifted to earth and water. So fire and air is all about explosion, movement, rapid changes, but earth and water is all about stability. It's all about flowing in a particular direction with a constant speed, unless the dam breaks and the water floods the city. There is negativity and positivity in almost all of the planetary transits. We are going to discuss about the in-depth analysis of Rahu and Ketu in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio respectively. We will also discuss the ascendant-wise predictions about Rahu and Ketu in very short, and if you want to go for your ascendant, the timestamp is given in the description box below. And do not forget to hit like, subscribe and share and hit the bell icon so that you never miss another update. If you want to follow me on social media for other updates on astrology, astro bites and more tips, I have profiles on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. You can follow me there. The link is in the description box. If you want to take consultations, then you can drop me an email. The email ID is also in the description box below. So guys, I hope you will like this video. Do comment your views in the comment section below. Let's continue with the very, very strong axis change of Rahu and Ketu into an 8, Taurus and Scorpio. Rahu, the planet of mystery, the planet which defines breaking the boundary. Rahu is a very unique planet. Remember, it is called as Chaya Grah. That means it's a Grah of shadow. It's a planet of shadow. It's a planet created by the movement of sun and moon. Therefore, it's a mathematical point. Therefore, it actually explains the essence of the karma. Rahu defines new karma. Wherever Rahu will be in your chart or wherever Rahu will be in the transit, Rahu is going to make you insecure, because only when you are feeling insecure, only when you are hungry about that particular attribute is when you will try to explore that house. It is only then you will be able to jump into the properties of that house and you would want to achieve something. That's the materialistic desire of Rahu. Ketu, on the other hand, is something that is not Rahu. Ketu is the body, but it does not have the malefic or materialistic head, and therefore it defines spiritual progress. Ketu defines what is left of Rahu. So once your materialistic desire comes to an end, what is left is a spiritual quest, it's a spiritual journey. And Ketu is therefore called a planet who gives you spirituality, planet who detaches, planet who is very sharp, because the karmic cord has to be cut with a very sharp karmic sword, and Ketu represents that karmic sword. Ketu is also known as Dharma Pataka, that means the flag of Dharma. And therefore, Ketu becomes highly spiritual and highly occult when it reaches the 8th house. When we talk about Taurus and Scorpio, on the other hand, we are also seeing the materialistic part of Taurus and the occult part of Scorpio. And that is why this transit of Rahu Ketu is very, very special. Taurus is the natural second house. Taurus represents security. Taurus represents resources that is available. And Taurus represents mouth. Using your mouth and vocal cords, you generate voice, swar, frequencies. The actual name of Rahu and Ketu, before they were decapitated and separated by Lord Vishnu, the name was Swar Bhanu. There was a sound, accent. So Rahu Ketu represents how we propagate our karma, how we go between or tussle the fight between the materialistic side of life and the spiritualistic side of life. The right balance has to be created, and when Rahu goes into the sign of Taurus, Rahu finds that materialistic balance, because Taurus gives Rahu the necessary resource, whereas the Scorpio, on the other hand, gives Ketu the necessary occult zone. Scorpio is the natural 8th house. It's a very dark, mysterious house with great hidden secret powers. It's the house of Gupta Vidya, the secret knowledge. And when Ketu, the planet of spirituality, goes there, remember, if we talk about a triangle like this, the sharp end is always Ketu, because Ketu pierces. Ketu has to pierce in the 8th house, the dark trenches, and go to the depth to find the right path, to find the right knowledge. The quest and the hunger of the spiritual knowledge has to be extreme in Scorpio, and that is what Ketu is going to do. Whereas the base, which is the broader one, represents Rahu, the broader perspective. Rahu wants everything. But whatever Rahu will collect will actually drill down to ultimate spirituality. That is why Taurus and Scorpio is a very unique axis. Let's continue with a general analysis of Rahu and Ketu in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio. Rahu is quite different in the sign of Gemini and very different in the sign of Taurus. Now, we have always known that Rahu behaves like the planetary lord of the zodiac in which it sits, or it behaves like the planet with which Rahu will place itself. Because Rahu is like a software. It totally depends upon the hardware that carries the information of Rahu. Rahu does not have a body of himself, so he has to take shape. He is a shape shifter. So he has to take some shape. He has to take some basis on which he will act. When Rahu will go to the sign of Taurus, the role of Venus becomes extremely important. And then two planets, Taurus and Moon, are going to get impacted because of this. Why? On one hand, Taurus is controlled by Venus, but Taurus is the sign where Moon gets exalted. Vrishab Rashi, Chandra becomes exalted. So these two planets will get impacted because of the Rahu transit, and therefore the transit of Rahu in the sign of Taurus will be much more emotional. It will make you much more insecure about things. You would want to collect as many resources as possible. And when Rahu goes into the sign of Taurus, it is also going to make you a bit selfish or a bit greedy. I'm not saying it is wrong, but it's just that your attention will go towards your own family, whether you can bring more people in the family. So it's kind of good. If it is a positive, it gives a message of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But Rahu, if it becomes negative, then this Rahu can cause troubles in family. This Rahu can cause problems in speech. You can tell lies. You can deceive people. There is a manipulation involved. Lack of money in the bank account. A lot of virtual funds will come, but nothing real or concrete will come. Promises will be there, but the results will be few. These are few positive as well as negative effect of Rahu in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is a very materialistic sign. Taurus is all about need, all about to save. It's a bank account, so it is going to save whatever you will earn. And that is why it is called as Dhanabhav. Now Rahu in the Dhanabhav in the sign of Venus is actively going to make things really good for you from the perspective of finances, totally depending upon how you take this energy. If you fall into the hands of Rahu's greed, then definitely Saturn's energy will prohibit any kind of function of Rahu, and therefore you will see lack of money. But on the positive end, this Rahu is going to give you opportunities to earn more and more, and you will see the great positive effect of Rahu. Now, the contrasting thing is that the effect of Ketu cannot be neglected. When you talk about the Ketu in Scorpio, you're talking about hard spirituality, Hatha Yoga. You're talking about extreme occult energy. Scorpio is a very favorable sign for Ketu. Ketu in the sign of Scorpio wants to learn more and more. He's never happy. He's never content. He's always about jumping from one spiritual technology to the other spiritual technology, and that is where you have to be careful. When you're following a spiritual path, you need a guru right now, somebody who can tell you that, this is the right path and that is the wrong path. If you are taking up one task, first complete that task. Because Rahu will make you imagine that you have already achieved this goal of spirituality, and spirituality can unfortunately become a target. But in spirituality, it's never the destination, but it's always the journey. Now, when Rahu and Ketu, the two extremes, the two nodes, go into a very extreme and opposite zodiac signs of Taurus and Scorpio, in each one of our life, the materialistic side will also enhance and the spiritualistic side will also enhance. Our role is to understand the sign of Libra. Libra will play a great role, and if you have a friend who has a Libra ascendant or a Libra moon sign or any planet placed in Libra, if your relative has prominent planets in Libra, or he or she is undergoing Libra Charadasha, Rashi Dasha of Libra, you will see that person playing a very crucial role in handling this axis. Because the motion of Rahu Ketu is towards Scorpio and Taurus, Libra falls 6th from the sign of Taurus and 12th from the sign of Scorpio. So, the position of Libra is 6 and 12. So, Libra can make and break the situation. So, you need to ascertain where your Libra zodiac is, and that will feel the maximum pressure. You won't feel that much pressure where Taurus and Scorpio is. You will feel the exact pressure where your Libra is. If Libra is in your 10th house, whatever be the movement of Scorpio, whatever be the movement of Rahu Ketu, career will be impacted. If the Libra is in 5th house, children will be impacted. 7th house, marriage will be impacted. Now that's a secret that I told you. But on the totality, if I see that this is going to create polarity in society, this is going to create sharp views. This is going to give you a hard fight between, on one side there will be a non-spiritual person, adharm, on the other side it will be a spiritual person who is trying hard, because both Rahu and Ketu are going deeper and deeper into these two areas. You need to learn how to connect them. How to connect and how to bring the spiritual life into the material life, and how to make material life more spiritual one. How to make funds available, finances available, resources available to spread the words of dharma, to spread the spirituality. On the other hand, with the spiritual energy, you will also not become selfish, you will also not become greedy. Because in the second house, you can easily become a deceiving person, easily manipulate others, you can easily tell lie, and you can easily fall into the greed and the lust of Rahu. Also, you need to see the role of Venus and Mars in this. Now, one question I definitely got from one of my subscribers, that how to understand the impact of Rahu Ketu. See, first of all, because both Rahu and Ketu will have a combined movement, it will not be that both are having equal amount of effect on you. If you are running a Rahu Mahadasha, you will have Rahu dominant effect. If you are running a Ketu Mahadasha, you will have a Ketu dominant effect. Then you have to see which planets are associated with Rahu. If you are running those planets Mahadasha, then Rahu will be affecting more than the Ketu. And if you have a planet, so for example, you have a Venus and Ketu conjunction and you are running a Venus Mahadasha or Antardasha, then Ketu's effect will be more. Also, you have to see if your Chandra, that is moon, is in Rahu's nakshatra or Ketu's nakshatra. By that way also you can ascertain. If you are running a particular Mahadasha, say Jupiter Mahadasha, and that Jupiter is in Rahu's nakshatra, say Adra, or Ketu's nakshatra, say Mula, then depending upon that you have to decide which planet is going to take more dominance. And if nothing of this fulfills, for example, your moon is not in Rahu Ketu nakshatra, you are not associated with a planet that is with Rahu or Ketu or under the influence of Rahu Ketu, you are not in Rahu Ketu Mahadasha. Say for example, you are running a Mars Mahadasha and Mars is in Aries in say Kritika nakshatra, then you have to take the axis Rahu Ketu energy as a combined energy. You will have a combined, a fused impact. You won't have the polar impact, but you will have a very balanced impact. So there will be three types of effect. One Rahu dominated effect, one Ketu dominated effect, and one fused effect of this Mahadasha, which makes understanding this Rahu and Ketu transit further more complicated. But you don't need to go so deep into that complication, because on a very generic level, you can easily find out where your Libra is, where your Taurus is, and where your Scorpio is. Wherever you have Scorpio, try to have more spirituality in that house. Wherever you have Taurus, try to be more materialistic towards that house, but try to have a balance of energy between those two houses. Let's take an example. Suppose you have Taurus in the 10th house and Scorpio in the 4th house. So definitely Ketu will go in the 4th house, whereas Rahu will go in the 10th house. When Rahu goes into the 10th house, you have these career issues coming up. There can be controversies in the job, there can be controversies in the business. And when Ketu goes into the 4th house, you will see that the Ketu is creating more spiritualistic environment in the home. You can find yourself in a quite difficult situation at home. Then what you have to do, transfer the energy. Bring the spirituality in your career and bring more money in your home. Just exchange to balance the energy. Once that balance achieves, you will see that wherever your Libra is, you will start getting the help from that particular house, that particular attribute, and the life will be kind of balanced. So this was a brief generic analysis of Rahu Ketu, but I won't leave you like this. Let's understand ascendant by ascendant what is the effect of this transit. Again, I will repeat, do not forget to like, subscribe or share this video and hit the bell icon so that you never miss another update. If you want to watch Ascendant, if you want to jump to your Ascendant, all the timestamp will be in the description box and in my pinned comment. You can click the timestamp. If you are a Taurus Ascendant, you can click the timestamp of Taurus and you will be skipped to the Taurus part of the video. You don't need to watch the entire video, only the Ascendant that is of your concern, you can watch that. But I hope you will like this. So let's continue towards the Ascendant part. Ascendant number 1, Aries. So I have your chart ready here. So what I can see from the Aries is Rahu is in the 2nd house and Ketu is going in the 8th house. So materialistic and spiritualistic access is taking a lot of toll here. Rahu in the 2nd house is going in the wealth house. It is very good for the wealth. But Ketu on the 8th house can create rift in marriage, can create some disturbance with the in-laws. So you have to be really focusing on your spiritual core side, but do not ignore your roots. Also, you need to be a bit secured because Rahu in the 2nd house can cause insecurity issues, especially related to finances and some issue with the family. With the 2nd house, which is the house of speech, you need to be careful about the words that you speak, the food that you eat, and you also need to take care of your oral health, the dental hygiene, and also you need to be slightly careful about if you're cursing anybody. The foul words, the bad words coming, the negativity coming from your mouth will be immediately absorbed by the 8th house because Ketu there is ready to teach you the lesson of spirituality. Make sure that with the balance between the materialistic side of life and the spiritualistic side of the life, you don't learn the lesson in a hard way. You have to learn the lesson in a quite simpler, easy way, and this is going to give you an opportunity not only to have a very good life, a very nice, resourceful life, but also a kind of a content life. Moreover, just you need to eat right and you need to avoid marriage-related problems, or you may have some concerns about the security of marriage, or you may feel like you need to focus more on yourself rather than the marriage. In a way, if you can do it in a constructive way, this is going to be good. But Om chanting is going to be really important is what I can see from the horoscope of Aries, because 2nd house is the house of speech, words, Rahu, electromagnetic waves, and therefore chanting Om will not only balance your mind but will also give you emotional stability and overall stability of life. Ascendant number 2, Taurus. Now Rahu is coming on your ascendant and Ketu is coming on your 7th house. So definitely Rahu means exploration, so you need to explore more about yourself. What do you know about yourself? Do you really know yourself enough? Or you are always about other person? So you can see here that Rahu on the 1st house and the Ketu in the 7th house is actually talking to you. You need to focus on your own personal self more than what the world is thinking about you. But beware in this, because Ketu's energy in the 7th house can actually break the cord in the marriage, can create disruption to. Don't become too selfish about yourself. Don't make everything all about you. But on the other hand, don't ignore yourself also. The focus and attention should be on yourself, but do not become an attention seeker. But overall, this is a very good time, because what I can see from your chart is a great confidence. The personality is going to change. The overall, I will say the overall picture of your horoscope is going to change, and if you are in the Rahu Mahadasha, this will have the largest impact. But you need to be very careful about the feedback that you get from the people, because you will see that a lot of people will leave you in this time frame. So you may feel that this is a hard time for you, but no, the negativity will leave you and the positivity will come to you. But what you have to do is, when you are spreading your personality, when you are radiating your personality, you need to be very positive. Leading an optimistic life is very essential in your case. If you are a Taurus ascendant and if your Venus is weak, then it can be a bad time for relationship, marriage. So if you have to just hold on to the situation and you have to just focus on the positive side rather than the negative side. So you have to maintain that balance. And if your spouse is spiritual, if your partner is spiritual, if you can go into a spiritual environment like a retreat, like an ashram, this is going to be very beneficial for you. Ascendant number 3, Gemini. Okay, Rahu was on your ascendant from last 1.5 year. What a relief, huh? Rahu is going on your 12th house, Ketu is going on the 6th house. But the worry now is going from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. Have you given up your worries, or you have just dumped it or brushed under the carpet? If you have done the negative part, the latter part, if you have brushed your worries under the carpet, then this is going to haunt you. Rahu in the 12th house do not really will allow you to let the negativity go. So now you have to learn the art to release the negative energy, the art to let go. So Rahu in the 12th house is going to make you concerned about what you can lose. So now you will focus more about what you can lose and rather than what you can gain. That means your viewpoint will be more negative, and you will always blame towards the experience that you have. You will always blame on the 6th house. You will blame your fate, you will blame your destiny. Don't do that, because when Rahu goes into the 12th house, it gives you an opportunity to go to these distant places, to go to exotic places, to rejuvenate your life. It's a leisure time. Try to enjoy this. See where your Venus is placed, see where your Mars is placed, and try to capitalize the gain from that. It is good for relocation, I can say. It is good for foreign movement, for an export-import business, for information exchange through foreign channel. This is going to be very good. Try to be more creative and try to relay the creative information out. Try to broadcast your subconscious mind. So now this is the time when you bring out the subconscious into the conscious, and Ketu being in the 6th house is going to cut the prarabdha. When prarabdha is cut, the negativity is released. So then if you don't release, it's like having you are collecting the garbage. You just sweep the floor, clean the house, but now the big garbage bag is kept in the living room. That is not exactly how it should be done, right? So you need to throw the garbage out, and you need to cut the negativity and accept the positivity. Overall, this is going to be financially, it's going to be good transit. Just be aware of the expenses that you have, especially the medical expenses, and keep your health in check. Things will be fine. Ascendant number 4, the Cancer zodiac, the Kark Lagna. So what I can say is that Rahu is going on your 11th house, whereas Ketu is going on your 5th house. Very good for changing the source of income. Rahu will make you work more towards your gain, your desire, your ambitions, your expectations, your aspirations. All these things are going to expand. Just keep a check, have a filter that your aspirations and desire should not be impractical in nature. Otherwise, it is going to be very good. The only concern is Ketu, because you may have some concern about your children, about your productivity. But if I talk in this sense, you will forget whether you are productive or not, but you will rather try your best, in fact desperately, to earn more, to get more. You need to be very sure about what you invest and what you're getting out of investment. So if you can maintain that balance, it should be good. Just be very careful about some deceitful people. Your network connection will expand. See who you are communicating with. See with whom you are connecting. Who is the one who is in your communication circle that can deceive you, that can deceive you. That is very much important. And there can be a sudden job change, what I can see from your chart. But beware of thieves. Beware of people who will just say beautiful words but mean nothing. Beware of backstabbers. This is the good time to expand. This is the good time to switch a job. And overall, this is going to be actually a very good transit for you, because Rahu was in the 12th house and the mind was all over the place. And now it's just in the positive sense. Emotionally, if you can control yourself, then this transit will be excellent. But if you cannot control yourself emotionally, if you are always in a bad situation emotionally or psychologically, then you may be made to believe that you're not getting what you deserve. I hope you will try to control your emotion, and the best way is to go and bow down to the feet of Lord Shiva and pray Om Namah Shivaya. Hope that gives you the best of life. Ascendant number 5, Leo, the Simha Lagna. Very beautiful position. Rahu in the 10th, Ketu in the 4th. Very positive for a career change. Beware of ego that will set in. Rahu would make you believe that you need a promotion, you need a job change. You need to identify whether this feeling or emotion is coming out of a real scenario, or is this just you can say a false alarm created by Rahu? You know what will happen? You will made to believe that you need to work harder, so you will get a promotion. You will ignore your personal life, which is Ketu, the 4th house. You will ignore the personal life, and the entire shift of focus will be towards your career. The work and life balance can go off the track. You need to maintain that. This also shows a very good change of career. You can change your home. Try to avoid controversies in office. When you're writing an email, when you are working in office, or whatever area, whether it's a business or any career you have, you need growth, but it should not be an explosion of growth, because any kind of explosion is called cancer. So try to maintain a very controlled growth and always pray to Brihaspati, Jupiter. And what I also can see from your chart is that the people can talk behind your back. Don't give them an option. And this is not a good time to buy a car or a home or any kind of renovation unless emergency, unless it's needed. And family ties can be cut off. So something from the personal life can trouble you. But overall, you will be able to manage, because you are a Leo ascendant. You are already the ascendant of light. All you have to do is chant Gayatri Mantra and seek the light. This is going to be a wonderful transit for you. Ascendant number 6, Virgo. For Virgo ascendant, Rahu is going on your 9th house, whereas Ketu is going on your 3rd house. So 9th house is what? Dharma, and Rahu is Adharma. So be very careful of your duties. Fulfill your duties. Do not run away from your duties. Travel to religious places to get more information. Explore. 9th house is the house to explore. Learn more. Understand what is right for you, what is wrong for you. 3rd house is called as efforts or Purusharth. This means you need spirituality in your action, and you need to understand your capacity. Don't do things beyond your capacity, beyond your control. Venus is going to be very favorable for you, and belief system, what I can see, is will change in your life. Your ideologies will change. The passion, the karma, everything is going to go under transformation. Your ascendant lord, Mercury, is a friend of Rahu. So you need to be very sure how you can cut the prarabdha. And because the 9th house energy is coming, you need a guru. You need a professional person who can be a friend or a guide in this time frame, so that you don't lose the path. Because for you, losing the path is very much a possibility. But if you are just maintaining an awareness, I don't think that will be a case here. Just one thing you have to see, that when Rahu goes into the 9th house, Rahu can give you a sense of overachievement. Ketu in the 3rd house says try to start a task, but Ketu is always about finishing it before. You will feel like you have done enough, but it will not be the case, because you will believe, and you will also fight for your belief. When you are fighting for your belief, or you are debating about that, just see whether you are correct or incorrect. So if you are getting a feedback, give value to that feedback. Personality change is very much needed, and there can be a small struggle with the brothers, but no impractical approach. Procrastination will be your biggest enemy. If you can handle all these things, life will change, destiny will change. Ascendant number 7, Libra. Okay, in my general analysis, I have mentioned that Libra is going to be the game changer here. So you are going to be the game changer. Why? See, Rahu will transit your 8th house. Your ascendant is also ruled by Venus, and the dispositor of Rahu is Venus. So for you, it's very easy to control Rahu, but this also means that you are going to face the most challenging time, the most unprecedented time, the most undulating time, because the 8th house energy of Rahu is going to make time very, I will say, secretive for you. And you will have to, it's like you are sleeping in the middle of night and there is a sound in the basement. You have to go in the basement and see who that is. That means you have to face your fear. But this is going to give you a lot of advantage, an edge over other people. Materialistically, this is going to be a very good time. You will invest, you will see a lot of investment coming, maybe kind of a wealth from other people, money from wife. Maybe your wife can have a promotion, maybe money can come from other people, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding can come. But because Ketu is in your 2nd house, your own personal wealth can go down. What you have to do is see if you have a liquid money, put it into a long-term investment, but not in stocks. High risk investment may be a kind of a passion for you, but it's not the right time, because then Rahu controls gambling. Then what Rahu will do? Rahu will make you believe that you will earn a lot, there will be a lot of profit, you would want to earn quick, and in this you will lose a lot of money, because you have to maintain balance. For marriage, there is definitely a chance of sudden marriage or meeting a life partner, but a family support may lack, so be very careful. With Ketu in the second house, your voice can be sharp, your voice can be you can be a sharp critic at this point of time. Try to be diplomatic, tone down your attitude in a bit. Your words need to be precise, and mostly you need to be quiet. You need to experiment with your personality and try to change how you talk. That is going to make you go in a long run. And overall, if you are chanting mantra, any mantra that suits your horoscope, and with slight occult energies, you can say blessings, you can go and make this transit the best transit for you. Ascendant number 8, Scorpio. For you, Ketu is going on your first house, Rahu on the 7th house. That means for you, you will think much more about sacrifice. Sacrificing your personality, sacrificing your attitude. You can see Rahu in the 7th house is going to give feed from the external. Believe, but then don't become a blind believer. You will get a lot of responses, but out of 10, 6 will be fake, 4 will be the correct response. You need to filter out the unnecessary information from the necessary information and only absorb that is good for you. Because when you are having Ketu in the first house, this will always make you believe that you are not enough, you are not sufficient. Just this is what was felt by Sagittarius. So if you have a Sagittarius ascendant friend, you can talk about the experience. But for you, it will be far more intense, but it will be good for you, because you can actually transform your personality by having a better feedback from people. So have right people around you that can tell you what is right and what is wrong about you. Suggestions are therefore needed. This is the right time for some new business, marrying somebody, coming into new work environment, trying to change the role, trying to take a role that is totally different. And if you are from media industry, this is going to give you popularity. What I can see from the horoscope is the only problem is that you can be psychologically manipulated. Be very careful on that part. And when the Ketu was in the first house, there is a chance of an accident or a cut on the body or some health issue can come. You need to be careful on that part. If you are just maintaining this, if you are optimistic about everything, for you, optimistic and affirmations, positive affirmations is the key to success in this transit. Ascendant number 9, Sagittarius, you are now free from the Ketu transit. Ketu is going on your 12th house, Rahu is going on the 6th house. So basically, when Ketu goes into the 12th house, it's about liberation, moksha. So what I can see is that you will focus more on the problems and now you're going to address them, but then don't make a mountain out of a rat. Be very careful. When you're focusing on the 6th house, when you're focusing on the Rahu in the 6th house, you also are trying to get free from the problems, but don't be desperate about that. I know the time was not great, but you can still be somebody who can handle the situation in a much better way. I know there will be a reduction of loss, but you need to take control of the situation. Try to get, if you are in a debt, try to remove the debt. You will get an opportunity to do that. Donate as much as you can. Rahu in 6th actually will increase prarabdha. Remember this. So when you are trying and doing good for others, when you're trying to have a relationship coming into picture, think about the prarabdha also. Moksha from trouble is a very positive thumbs up sign. But I can also see that the travel to ancient places, exotic places, spiritual places is possible. Taking a new loan for a career, for a business, I will say unless it's emergency, don't do it. But the much needed relief is coming. Ketu in the 12th house is going to cut the ties with the negativity and give you a comfortable sleep. It's like you are losing the consciousness and you are going into the consciousness of Vishnu Lok, and therefore Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is the mantra for you. I hope to all Sagittarians a wonderful 18 months ahead. Ascendant number 10, Capricorn. For Capricorn, Rahu is going on the 5th house, Ketu is going to be on the 11th house. That means you will focus more about learning. You need to upgrade your skill. You will focus more about the productivity and not on the money. But you need to diversify. Ketu in the 11th house will give you opportunity to multiply and focus on what is the problem with source of income. This also means that you will have to sacrifice your wishes, your desire for the sake of children. And this also means that your personality is changing. The way you plan things in your life is going to go for a complete change. With the 5th house having materialistic Rahu coming into picture, this means the way you express yourself is going to be more from the luxury end. You need to be more precise in your communication, and I will say just try to learn a new language. This will help you to go in a long run. Your intuitive power is definitely going to change a lot. This also gives an opportunity to definitely change a job. If you are immediately looking for a job change, this is the time for you. But for you, Venus is very important. You need to be creative and find out why Venus is, where Venus is placed, and if Venus is bad, try to rectify Venus and donate funds for education of poor children. This is going to be very good, but you need to be very careful about love matters. You can be romantically obsessed, do not be. But overall, I see that it is a good transit. If you're looking even for a childbirth, this is also going to be good for you. But overall, your productivity area is going to improve. Maintain decent balance and have your Saturnian energy, because Saturn is on your 1st house. So on the one hand, Rahu and Ketu will give you that push. Saturn on the 1st house will give you stability. It's a complete thumbs up for you. Ascendant number 11, Aquarius. It is said that your ascendant is co-ruled by Rahu. So it's your ascendant lord going into the 4th house and Ketu is going into the 10th house. Career change imminent, but some disturbance in the family front can be seen. This also means you can buy a new home, new property, new car, and your focus will again become whether you should choose career or you will choose your home. And this is something very unique. Because Taurus is about resources, you will start thinking, are you happy? Rahu in the 4th house is going to make you feel unhappy, and he will make you think that you should follow your passion, follow your desire, and forget about everything else. If you're looking for a shift from a career, a regular career, to a desire, and if you want to follow the passion, this is the time for you. But just have the right transition, because you can't really trust Rahu. Rahu is all about promise. But to make that promise come to reality is the task of Saturn and Jupiter. So if you are in the right condition, you can definitely follow your passion. But definitely if you just want to switch a job, balance, buy a new property, renovate the home, bring in luxury in the home, this is the time for you. This is also the time when you can say marriage is going to take a hit, because when the personal life and the career comes into a clash, the personal life takes the biggest hit, because a lot of people nowadays try to choose a career. Why I'm saying this is because Rahu will always want you to be materialistic, and when you are in the family life and you choose that over a career, you can't be materialistic because Rahu wants money, and that is the materialistic side that is going to increase. Just try to maintain, exercise, do a lot of pranayam. This will help you regulate the energy of Rahu, because Rahu is air, and overall, if you can take control of your emotions, this is going to be a very stable time for you. Definitely, one more thing I can say is that your Lagna Lord, which is Shani, is in the 12th house. That gives a lot of hint. That means lot of change. Your life will change and your comfort zone is going to change. One thing is definitely going to happen, either psychologically or physically. Your location, your existence will go to a new plane. I hope you make the best out of it. So final ascendant, Pisces. Now in case of Pisces, you can see that Rahu is on the 3rd house and Ketu is in the 9th house. So what happens in this case? When Ketu goes into the 9th house and Rahu is in the 3rd, you will believe more on your actions, your capabilities, rather than people telling you to do so. So when Rahu is in the 3rd house, you will feel that you can do it. Your motivation will be all-time high, which is good. But you should remember that your ascendant lord is getting debilitated. So out of 18 months, 12 months will be the time when your ascendant lord itself is debilitated. So you will try too hard. What I can definitely see from your chart is that you are trying too hard but things are not materializing. That means you need patience. There is Saturn in the 11th house. I cannot ignore that. That means you have to compromise. When Rahu is trying to move the mountain, you have to see whether that is a possibility or not. So before taking any action, try to judge the feasibility of action. You need to be very careful in your attempts and try to take support from other people, because that is what you will get. But excess of self-belief is bad. Ego is bad for you. And financially, this is going to be a good time, because ultimately Rahu is material pleasure. With the third house, Rahu's energy, you will see that a lot of material pleasure will come. You can start a business with your family, brother, cousins. That is also, if you want to do, you can do. And if in your chart, I do see that if your Venus is good, you can make a great fortune out of it. You have to be creative. Third house is about communication, expression. Try to express in a more creative way. Learn a new language or a musical instrument, because when you will learn a musical instrument, this will give you a new way to express and try to be more emotional in that particular area. That is going to channelize the energy of Rahu. Maybe you can have an attempt of sudden marriage, or you can attempt at almost anything. You can see like a sculpture who can carve the beauty out of a rock. That is the power you are having. If with that power, if you can really make a nice life, a nice future, you will see that this is going to be a brilliant transit for you. So guys, that was the analysis of ascendant to ascendant for the transit of Rahu and Ketu in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio. I hope you like this video. If you like the video, do not forget to hit like, subscribe and share, and hit the bell icon so that you never miss another update. Keep liking the video, keep giving me suggestions and your views in the comment section, and stay connected. So with this, I will meet you in the next video. Till then, this is your host Punneit. Namaste.